Alright guys, so today we are going to learn about slope, and hopefully you guys have learned about slope a little bit in 8th grade, but we're just going to continue on. So I think it's very appropriate that the title of our worksheet is called What is Slope? Well, slope is the constant rate of change between points on a line, okay? And it is also known as the ratio of the rise to the run of a line. And the variable that we're going to use to describe slope is going to be m. Okay? Alright, now there are 4 different types of slope, and in order to determine which slope we're looking at, we need to start from the left to the right. And so if we're looking left to right, our penguin is going up. So this is called a positive slope. And then if we look at the next one, going from left to right, our penguin is going down. So this is going to be a negative slope. Okay. All right. And then our next one, left to right, well, our penguin isn't going either up or down, and when that happens, it is called a zero slope. Alright, and then our next one is a little bit tricky, but I'll explain it in an actual problem. So when our penguin is just going directly vertical with a yeek, it is going to be called an undefined slope. And again, I'll explain that a little bit better when we do an actual problem. Okay? Alright, so let's take a look at our first 3 graphs. So we are going to find a slope given a graph. Now I think it's very important to notice that right here it says rise over run, and that's our slope. Okay? So our rise is our vertical change, and our run is our horizontal change. So in order to find our slope, what we want to do is take a look at the points we are given, and I like to make them a little bit bigger just so that I can actually see where they are. And then we are going to draw a triangle connecting our points. And you always start at your leftmost point. Just like when we were doing domain, always start at your leftmost point. Okay? And then we're going up and over to our next point. Alright, and now we are going to count from our point up. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And since I was going up, it's going to be a positive 7. And now I'm going to count to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. And since I went to the right, it's going to be a positive 4. You okay with that? Alright. And since it is my rise over my run, my slope, which is m, because it told me so right here, is going to be 7 over 4. And I want you to leave things as an improper fraction, just because it's easier to tell when we're going to start graphing slope as to what our slope is going to be. Okay? Alright, so now we're going to go on to number 2. And I have a point here and a point here. And since this is my leftmost point, draw your triangle. Okay? And now we're going to start again from our leftmost point and count down this time. So 1, 2, 3. And since this time I counted down, it's going to be a negative 3. Because remember, up is positive, down is negative. And now I'm going to count to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that was a positive 9 because going to the right is positive and left is negative. And remember, it's rise over run, so it's going to be negative 3 over 9. And I do need to simplify my fraction. So it's going to be -1/3 because you just divide the top by 3 and the bottom by 3 to simplify it. Okay? And then that's going to be my answer. And I will box the other one as well. Make sure we know what our answers are. Okay? Alright. And then for number 3, this one is kind of hard to tell, but because of my arrows, I know that this one is my line, and then these are my points right here. Okay? Alright, now we need to do our rise over our run. But if you notice, there is no rise. We don't go up or down to get to our points. We just move to the right one. Okay, so this has a 0 rise and a run of +1. Okay, and then what is 0 divided by 1? Good, it's 0. And that is why when we have a horizontal line, it is a 0 slope. Good? Okay. Alright, so then let's take a look at number 4. I'm going to try to keep good. Types of slopes are still up there. Okay, so when we're looking at number 4, this time we have a vertical line. And we have our 2 points here and here. And this time we do have a rise, because when we just have our vertical line, we're just going to go from the bottommost point, just like we did with our range. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So that is a +3. But if you notice, I don't move left or right. So m is going to be +3 over 0 because we didn't move left or right. Okay? And anything divided by 0, when your 0 is in the denominator, your slope is going to be undefined. Which is why here it's undefined. And if you put 3 divided by 0 into a calculator, you're going to get an error message. It might say error domain or error cannot divide by 0. Okay? Alright, so let's take a look at number 6. This one is a positive slope, so our answer should be positive. And then again, you're going to draw your triangle from point to point. Count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And over 1, 2, 3. Okay? And then it's our rise over run. So m is going to be 5 divided by 3. And now we're going to take, whoops, I haven't been boxing my answers. Sorry guys. Got that one. And this one. And this one. There we go. Okay. And now for number 6. This one is also a positive slope. Okay, so we are going to count up 1, 2, and then over 1, 2. So then my slope is going to be 2 over 2, and that will simplify to 1. And that's going to be our answer. Okay? Alrighty, I want you guys to try the back, and if you're still not sure about what's going on, then I will continue to go through these problems, but I'm going to go a little bit faster. So if you don't understand, watch the first 6 again, because I'll go through it a lot more slowly, but I'm going to do these next ones a little bit faster. Okay, and if you moved ahead, you can just check your answers, okay? Alrighty. So, point here and here. And so my slope is negative. So my answer should be negative. And -3 divided by 1 is just going to give me -3. Okay? And that is supposed to be a 3. Alright. And then for 8, our slope is positive. Draw your triangle. And remember, it's rise over run. And that one's pretty simple because we don't have to simplify it. And then this one is our horizontal line. So it's just going to be m equals 0. For 10, we have another positive slope. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Rise over run. 4 divided by 2 is going to give me a positive 2. Number 11 is also a positive slope. So we're going to go up 1 and over 1, 2, 3. So m will equal 1/3. For our next one, it is just this vertical line, so it's going to be undefined. And if you're ever not sure about which one is which, pick a couple of points, like here to here, and then you can just do, hey, I move up 1, 2, 3, 4, but I don't move left or right at all, which would be 0, which would be that undefined. Okay, and then here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So m will equal 4 over 1, which is just going to equal 4. And this one is also a positive slope. So if you notice, every time I say this is going to be a positive slope, our number is positive. So make sure your number is always positive when you're talking about positive slope. And if it's negative, like number 15, then your number should be negative. So this will give me -5 and +1. Doing okay so far? Positive slope. So we're going to go up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And since it's rise over run, it's going to be 1 over 4. Positive slope. Don't forget to simplify your fractions. 18 is a negative slope. So we should have a negative number. And -4 divided by 4 is just going to give us that -1. Alright, hopefully you're doing okay. Alright, and then our last 3, we have a negative slope here. Rise over run. And slope is really just the steepness of the graph. And this will simplify to -1/2. Boxing my answers. And then last one for graph, or for finding a slope by a graph. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 2. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. And so that will be 5 over 2. Good? Alrighty. So now we are going to switch gears a little bit, and we are going to figure out how we find slope given 2 points. Okay? So that's what this all is. We're going to find the slope between 2 points. And then our 2 points are x1 and y1 and x2 and y2. All right? And our formula to find the slope between 2 points is going to be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay? All right, so the first thing that I like to do when I have to find the slope between 2 points is determine which is point 1 and point 2. So I'm going to say that this is point 1 and this one is point 2. And the reason why I do that is because my point 1 will tell me which is my x1 and my y1. So because x is always first, this 1 is going to be my x1 and this 1 is going to be my y1. Okay? And then here my 4 is going to be my x2 and then the 3 is going to be my y2. You okay with that? All right. So, to follow our formula, I need to put down y2, which we said was our 3. So I'm going to do 3, and then minus, and then I need to put down my y1, which is 1. And then I'm going to divide by x2, which we said was this 4. Minus my x1, which is that 1. Okay? And so now you have set up your formula. And then we are going to simplify it. So what is 3 minus 1? Hopefully you said 2. And then 4 minus 1 will give you 3. And so our answer is going to be 2 over 3. You okay with that? All right, let's try another one. Okay, so I'm going to say that this is my point 1. So this is going to be my x1. And sorry, that's supposed to be y1. And then this is going to be my x2 and my y2. Okay. So remember, we start off with y2, so it's going to be negative 2 minus my y1, which was that 4. Okay? And then we're going to divide by my x2, which was this 10, and then minus my x1, which was the negative 2. Okay? And now we're going to simplify. So negative 2 minus 4 is going to give us negative 6. Okay? And for 10 minus negative 2, if you remember, when we have a negative and a negative, it makes it positive. So now it's actually going to be 10 plus 2, which is going to give us 12. And remember, we have to simplify it. So it will simplify down to 1/2. Okay? Alright, let's try one more with all of my pretty colors, and then I will try to move a little bit faster, okay? Alright, so we have our x1 and our y1 and our x2 and our y2. And we're going to start with y2, so negative 5 minus 5 divided by negative 8 minus a negative 4. Okay? And then negative 5 minus 5 is going to give me negative 10 divided by negative 8 minus a negative 4. Remember, our negative negatives become positive. So it's negative 8 plus 4, which will give me negative 4. And then we need to simplify. So the negative negative here will also give me positive. So 10 divided by 4 is going to simplify to 5 over 2. Okay? Alrighty. So now, hopefully that was enough of me being slow for you, and if not, watch the first 3 examples again. Okay? And now, I'm going to move a little bit faster, okay? So 4 minus 0 over negative 2 minus 10. So we're going to get 4 over negative 12. We're going to simplify it to negative 1/3. Okay? Alright. Next, we have 9 minus 9 over 3 minus 5. 9 minus 9 will give me 0. 3 minus 5 gives me negative 2. And anything divided by 0, or sorry, 0 divided by anything is just going to give me 0. And remember, that's that horizontal line that we had. Okay. Alright, and now 5 minus 8 over negative 7 minus negative 7. 5 minus 8 is going to give me a negative 3. Negative 7 minus a negative, those turn positive, so it's going to be 0. Now negative 3 divided by 0 is going to be undefined. And so this is going to be one of those vertical lines. Okay? And you can put negative 3 divided by 0 into your calculator and it'll give you that error. Alright? Alright, so final 3. 3 minus 9 over 2 minus negative 1. 3 minus 9 is going to give me negative 6. And then 2 minus a negative, those turn positive for 3, so this will give me negative 2. Alright, and then negative 2 minus 13 over 6 minus negative 4. Negative 2 minus 13 is going to give me negative 15. 6 plus 4 will give me 10. And we have to simplify it to get negative 3 over 2. And now we have 5 minus 6 over 6 minus 5. So we get negative 1 over 1. We'll simplify to negative 1. Negative 4 minus a negative 4 over 1 minus 9. Negative negative becomes positive for 0 over negative 8, which will just give me 0. So whenever 0 is on the top, it's going to equal 0. Whenever 0 is on the bottom, it's going to be undefined. And then negative 2 minus negative 9 over 3 minus 5. Negative negative becomes that positive, 7 over negative 2. And finally, we have 8 minus 6 over 4 minus 4. So we get 2 over 0, which is going to be undefined. Alright, good job, guys. If you still have questions, please rewatch this video. If you have watched the video at least twice, then raise your hand and I will come and help you with anything that you still do not understand. Thanks for watching.